Welcome to Sharing the Middle, where recovering perfectionists, overachievers, and anyone in the middle of the struggle come together to learn to embrace the messy middles of life. I'm Lacey, your friend in the middle, and guide whose claim to fame this week is going on a walk down the street with her daughter. Oh, the weather and my body aligned, and it was delightful, and I'm probably more proud than I should be, but I'm feeling it. Today's mini episode, you're going to hear an essay about time in the middle. It gets a little deep. Some advice if you're not feeling good enough, and we're going to wrap up with my Lacey loves. So let's jump right in, friends. Today's essay from the middle is called Time is on My Mind. Time is on my mind today. I started the day with a guided meditation or visualization that had me look into the future I wanted. I can see it so clearly. It has gotten me into a very reflective place, traveling through time in my mind. This past week, I made progress toward knowing what is going on with me. While I don't have a diagnosis, and I won't for a while, getting in to see a geneticist is like getting Taylor Swift tickets, apparently. For the first time, I feel like I have a plan that is based off of evidence. We are operating from the assumption that I have something called periodic paralysis, which means that now I have different tools to see how things affect me. I get to conduct my own little science experiments every day with my health to see what does and does not work. I have not been able to write since this appointment. For several days, I sit down to work on a post that I mapped out for this week, and nothing will come out. Today, I just started to write, and the idea of time just keeps coming up. In my mind, I'm thinking of the future, even making a manifestation Pinterest board, which I have a link to if you want to check it out. But as I write, only the past is emerging. Past is for storytelling. I have a piece that I continue to slowly work on called Not Knowing You're in the Middle, which someday I'll get done and posted. When it comes to the middle in the sense of time, there are many times that you don't even know that you're in the middle until you reach an unexpected ending. I found that when you don't know you're in the middle, it's the most beautiful. We constantly hear this when it comes to parenting, this idea that time is slipping away from us as our children age. It's in so many other places, though. Work, friendships, family rituals. We assign the good times to a beautiful middle. We probably didn't realize that's what it was until it was over. I'm uncertain if it's because I'm struggling with this middle now instead of fully loving it. It may be because I'm documenting more of my life or I have way more time to think. But I am becoming increasingly aware of the different moments that hit as change points. It's almost like I can see my life as if an author is writing out the plot points of my current story. Plot points in my story. I have a running series of plot points in my mind about my illness and this big life change. I have not written them out explicitly for you, but you've heard some of these points come up time and again. You can even go back to previous posts that I have in the blog to see these plot points as they happen in real time. I had panic attacks starting to signal that something was different or wrong within me. Halloween became a marker for my last day of mild normalcy, independence, or freedom. Purchasing my shower chair was just the first moment of acceptance that my life is going to be changed on a more permanent basis. My doctor's appointment last week was a plot point. It could be a red herring like in a mystery novel, letting me think I know what's going on, or it could be the start of the conclusion to this part of the story. I'm not trying to read too much into this being a possible illness whodunit, but it could end up being really fun. And now I have an idea and I'm writing this down for my future to write an illness whodunit. I don't know how to end this. You need to know. I'm sitting here in my bed, and as I write, I have tears in my eyes. I'm not certain from where the tears are coming from. I don't know if it's grief, sadness, relief, some sense of comfort or acceptance. Most likely it's a messy blob of all those things. I don't have one overwhelming feeling, just a big emotions leaking out. Tomorrow, I'll come back and edit this, most likely having a bit more insight. Just like with those plot points of mine looking back, I will have a little more space and knowledge to be able to sort through it all. I'm grateful that often when I look back like that, I don't play the what if game. For a period of time when I was younger, I did. But now I'm not thinking, what if I didn't have those panic attacks? What if Halloween was normal? What if I just purchased a shower chair, or not for necessity, but just for the joy of it? Which, come on, friend, I recommend that you do, whether you need a shower chair or not. I love it, and I will constantly sing the shower chair praises. For now, I guess I will close with the relationships that I desire with time. The past is for making sense and learning. The present is for enjoyment and embracing. The future is for dreaming and wonder. If I was able to change my relationship with the past to making sense and not what-ifing, maybe soon I'll be on my way to enjoyment and embracing the present. Today's episode of Sharing the Middle is brought to you by Next Door Goddess Handcrafted Jewelry. If you've been a listener of Sharing the Middle, you know that I love this vibrant jewelry that's inspired by the Mediterranean coast. It helps you embrace and celebrate your beauty. Each element is sourced from a small business, handcrafted in small batches, and only made while the creator is in their best mood. Vicki is one of my favorite people in the world, and she's their creative director, so I know that you will be receiving pieces that are not only beautiful, but will make you feel amazing too. I literally just put on my Tina in the Sun Golden Sunstone hoop earrings. I needed a little pick-me-up, and I wanted to add a little sunshine in my life, and I feel great. Head to nextdoorgoddess.com and get 10% off your first purchase by signing up for the newsletter with free shipping on all domestic orders. Release your inner goddess today. All right, now jumping into our advice from the middle. Today's letter reads, I wanted to write in because I'm struggling with feelings of inadequacy and not feeling like I am ever enough. No matter what I do, I feel like I fall short. I never feel like I'm good enough parent, spouse, friend, employee, or anything else. I constantly compare myself to others and I feel like I don't measure up. This has led to a lot of self-doubt, anxiety, and even depression. I want to feel more confident and fulfilled in my life, but I don't know how to get there. I've tried therapy and self-help books, but nothing seems to help. I feel like I'm stuck in this negative thought pattern and I don't know how to break free. Can you offer any advice on how to deal with feelings of not being enough and learning to appreciate oneself? I feel like it's an important thing for me to state here that I am not a mental health professional and that I do think you should try therapy again because maybe you just didn't have the right therapist. So let's go from there. I think what I'm hearing in many places is this repetitiveness of what's going on in your head and the stories that you tell yourself. So I think it'd be a really interesting exercise if you wrote it out. What is the story that you're telling yourself when you're feeling these things? I know for me, I often feel like I am not a good enough parent, certainly not a good enough spouse, friend, that kind of stuff. And I usually find that if I start to tell myself the story, I will figure out who I am comparing myself to and why. For example, if I think I'm not a good enough parent, I'll think of why do I feel that way? And then I'll point to maybe that perfect Pinterest mom or even my own mom in the past. And then I have to kind of take a step back and remember, what are the differences between me and that person? Honestly, not even my own mom, my sister. I'm always comparing myself to my sister, Amy, because I feel like she's a superwoman. But Amy chose to stay at home with her kids and I chose to continue working. And I think that ended up being a big difference for us. The other thing is Amy loves a schedule. She's going to be on one of my Women Who Made Me episodes soon, and you'll get to hear me ask her about this. But I would constantly be looking and thinking, I cannot keep my house clean like Amy does. I cannot make my kids' birthday parties like Amy does. But then when I start to realize, these are the differences in not only those, our abilities, but also priorities. At the end of the day, I don't really care if my kids have a picture perfect birthday party. My son, frankly, I barely planned birthday parties for him this year. My mother did one, and the other one I did mostly because it would be closer to his birthday, and then a couple more people could celebrate him. But at the end of the day, all I wanted was for him to feel special and for him to feel joy in that kind of stuff. And I also asked him, this is his first birthday, where I was like, what do you want? And he very clearly told me, he's like, I would like to see these people. I would like to do this and have this kind of cake, and we'll go from there. And I met those expectations. So yeah, what are the stories that you're telling yourself there? especially when it comes to that comparison and not adding up. And also I hope this goes without saying, if you're looking on social media, remember you're seeing someone's highlight reel there. You're not seeing the whole story. I know for me when I was pregnant too, that was a very difficult thing to see all these, because I was pregnant at the same time as Meghan Markle and these beautiful ethereal women, and I'm over here throwing up every daggone day. And then I just had to remember, I don't see her throwing up, and now we know, because we've heard all of the stuff she was going through at that point. So you don't know the whole story. I don't know. I know that those are probably things, frankly, that you've already done if you've done self-help books and that kind of stuff. But I started the middle because I was doing this too. I was looking around and I was seeing all these amazing people going on trips and doing this and doing that. And I was thinking, I'm not doing that. Looking back now, I'm like, girl, you were doing so much. Tackle those negative thought patterns. Get in there. See what's going on with them. Write them down. Get them out of your head. Maybe take them out of you and look at them objectively through all these different lenses. You can start to see how different you can look at them. Heck, I don't know you, but you could very easily be a absolutely healthy person, and I would look at you and the fact that you could go for a bike ride as you kicking ass, because that's not something I can do. Comparison is the thief of joy, right? So we need to stop. Also, sometimes things suck. So that's okay too. If you want to submit a letter to the middle, you can always email at hello@themiddle.com, and maybe I'll read yours on another mini episode with me, and you can get my sweet advice. All right, and then let's get into our Lacey Loves. As usual, I'm about to nerd out on something. I apologize in advance. If you don't know, I love home automation. I am the person that has all the Amazon Alexas set up. I can't actually say it because then she'll ask me what's going on. But I have set up our house that I can lay in bed and do pretty much everything that I need to do. From turning on and off lights to locking the front door with home automation. So my most recent home automation is the smart light bulbs. And I really like them because, one, they don't require an additional plug. So what we ended up doing is we put them in the fan in our bedroom so that I can lay in bed and turn them on and off, because sometimes getting up is hard for me. And if you have ever had migraines or headaches, you know how nice it would be just to be able to shut off the lights, and then it turns them off. But the other cool thing that they do is they change colors. And I gotta tell you, we have a rave because my son thinks it's so cool. They're also in the bathroom, so it has become another way to convince Isaac to do things like go to the bathroom, because I'm like, all right, I'll turn on the fun lights. And he goes, and then it's great. I will say I have a link to this in the show notes and on my website, but you gotta have other things set up before you get the lights. So you do need your home automation system kind of going. Like I said, I have the Amazon one, but there's Google and Apple as well. Speaking of Apple, I'm also going to talk about how much I love TV remotes. I know, again, this one is just not new technology, but man, you don't know how much you love a remote until it's gone. And Iris, my youngest, my daughter, who's gonna be, anyway, she's between 1 and 2. She'll be 2 later this year. She has started hiding remotes from us. And we lost our second remote this weekend, but then found the first remote that we lost. So I feel like what goes around comes around. But yeah, you just don't realize how much you love remotes until they're gone. The good news is that the remote we can't find is for our Apple TV, and we can use our phones as a remote, because even though I have Amazon home automation, the rest of my house is built off of Apple. I could nerd out on this stuff for a long time of things getting together and working and being magic, because basically I think technology is magic if you can make it work for you. So if you ever want to talk about those things or get my opinions, you let me know. I will nerd out real hard. Anywho, at least the one that we're missing now is the remote that we can use on our phones. But if anybody ever comes over and wants to use the TV, SOL, we can't find the remote. So yeah, those those are the things that I love today. As always, you can always find Lacey Loves on the Middle website. Thank you so much for joining me today. As usual, weirdly love just talking to you in my bed. And I hope that you talk back, whether that's through email, social media, whatever. I'd love to hear from you. Have a great day.